You've been homeschooling a while now, or you just started, and you've discovered that you got this. Yes, you can really teach your kids. You are sailing along on your homeschool journey. It's not perfect, but it is good. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, your child hits 8th grade. The panic starts to slowly creep in. What are you going to do for high school? All of your homeschool comes down to this moment, your validation as a teacher, or whether or not you messed up your kids for life. It all comes to a head during these years. Okay, not really. That was super dramatic, but you kind of feel that way, don't you? One of the important questions I needed answered was how to create a homeschool high school transcript. Just the exercise of setting up my oldest son's homeschool high school transcript and laying out his 4 years of high school really helped me think through the curriculum that I wanted to use and what we wanted to accomplish for high school. It also started the conversation of what he wanted to do after high school. We've had that conversation in the past and, of course, continue to have it. Hey moms, so welcome to another episode of the Life Unboxed blog show where we talk about all things momtrepreneur, from raising your kids to running a business, and the most important, keeping your sanity. I am Jody the mom from life-unboxed.blog, and today you are going to get all the tools you need to create a homeschool high school transcript. I'm really excited about it. But before we get into it, be sure to visit life-unboxed.blog and download your free Mom Boss 2.0 workbook. The workbook teaches you how to start a business without a niche, and oh yes, it can be done. If you like to be a rebel mom and break all the rules, then this is for you, and it's free. So hop on over to life-unboxed.blog and get yours today. And thank you to all of my supporters who've bought me coffee at ko-fi.com/life-unboxed-blog. And that's ko-fi.com/life-unboxed-blog. You don't have to create an account, just hit that donate and the site will process it. Now let's get back into the show. So recently I went to a book club and I did a show on that one too, so I will leave the link for you below. And as it happens with any gathering of homeschool moms, we started chatting about curriculum and what to do for high school. I was giving one of the moms the steps that I took with my firstborn, and one of the other moms said, "Is this on your blog?" And I was smacked in the face. Why wasn't this on my blog? I am all about giving practical help, and this is one of the biggest questions so many moms have. Now that I am adding another child to high school, that'll be this coming year, I thought I would share my process so you can start your homeschool high school journey with confidence. So for my podcast listeners, I am going to be showing a transcript and different things, and I will do my best to explain it, but you can always download it as well. So go to the show notes that will be in the description. Click the link and the download will be right there available for you. So if you feel like you need to see something, I know I'm a visual person, so if I see something, it's always better. Hop on over to the show notes and you can get a free copy, your free high school transcript. Homeschooling high school can feel daunting. How do you make sure your kids can get into college, if that's what you want to do? What classes should they even take? Then there are all the extracurricular activities. These always seem hard to fit in as a homeschooler. As you're asking yourself all these questions, keep this in mind when it comes to creating your homeschool high school transcript. Homeschooling goes beyond the books. This is why many people choose to homeschool, because it gives you so many opportunities beyond just a set of curriculum. As you start to create a high school transcript, Include learning that is done outside of the books. Does your child cook? Home economics. Are they interested in 3D printing, and do they pursue these interests? Computer science, anyone? Do they create websites? Divi theme? And a web design class. You aren't limited to just the curriculum that you buy, so think beyond the boxes you get at the beginning of the year. Another thought to keep in mind: once you have college credits, your high school transcript doesn't matter too much anymore. Now, this is coming from my own experience and my sister's as well. Neither one of us have ever submitted a high school transcript for college. We both fall into the some college demographic. So we had the college credits, and that was all anyone ever cared about. This may not be the same for you, but it is my own personal experience. Graduating from homeschool high school. It can be done. I am a second generation homeschooler, meaning I was homeschooled and now I'm homeschooling my kids. I went to public school through the first half of fifth grade, and then my mom pulled my sister and me out of school, and we never went back. Well, I did play sports. I can't say that. I did play sports at the public school when I was in junior high, but that's another story. So for my high school, I actually did a correspondence school with a private school in Illinois. So the school sent me the curriculum, I completed the work, and we mailed it back at the end of the year. This was before anyone was really using email. So you can check out the school. I will leave a link in the description below. So there are other schools like this as well, if this is the route you want to go. I believe Rebecca does a program like this as well. So for my kids, I chose not to go this route because I don't want to turn anything into a third party. It really is a ton of work. And so multiply the ton of work by 5, and that's all I would be doing. So even scanning and emailing it, I'm sorry, it's like we did that our first year because we used one of the public school programs for homeschooling here, and I swore I would never do it again. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But my diploma and transcript came from this private school. I even had a class ring and a tassel with the school colors. So the option to participate in the school's graduation was also on the table, but I didn't really care to go. On the other hand, my sister had a very different homeschool experience. She shares all of her tips at myhomeschoolwiththeview.com. She did graduate from high school, went on to some college, and never gave a high school transcript to anyone. Ooh, okay, so now I know I'm stepping on toes here. Do you need to take the ACT or SAT? So this may be a rabbit trail, but it is usually the very next question when it comes to high school. The very short answer is no. You don't need to take the ACT or SAT. Are you feeling like a rebel mom yet? We are totally schooling outside of the box here. And don't get me wrong, I love curriculum. I love getting my boxes of curriculum. But there are some things you just don't need to do. Okay, so if you want to go from high school to a university, then you will probably need to take these tests. So it is not a high school graduation requirement anywhere that I know of. So I haven't looked at every single state's laws. So based on the number of states that I've lived in and have homeschooled in, I've never seen this as a graduation requirement. So, however, they are required by most universities. So if that is your path, you will need to take them. Community colleges or technical schools usually don't require them. So before you get stressed out about these tests, check first if the college actually requires it, or if they have an option around it. Keep that in mind. Always ask. Not all the information may actually be on the website, so always ask. Especially if you are doing dual enrollment during high school, then your child will have college credits to actually transfer to a university. And many times at this point, the ACT or SAT is not required once the college credit is obtained. Now, I will give this one caveat. my nephew who did do public school, but where he lives, they have a great like Head Start program with college. So he did graduate with his associate's degree, but he still took the ACT and SAT tests so that he could qualify for more scholarship money. So something to keep in mind if you need scholarship money. So, and again, these are my own personal experiences and my sister's. We never took these exams. I've never encountered a need to either. Okay, so now I'm going to get into my system for creating a homeschool high school transcript. So even though I was homeschooled through high school, I still needed to figure out how to create this when my oldest started. So mainly I need to figure out what classes he was, supposed to take. So the first thing I did was find out how many credits he needed to take. And that landed me at the Home Life Academy website, and I am going to show it to you. Let's minimize this. Let's get up. Okay, wrong one. All right, there we go. Had to hit the right browser button. Only have 4 browsers on my computer. Anyway, so the first thing I did was to land on this website, and it was kind of a lifesaver. It is an umbrella school. I do not use this umbrella school, but the information provided was really helpful to get me started. So keep in mind, each state may have their own requirements for graduation, and the Home Life Academy website is they do serve other states, but they are primarily in Tennessee. So a lot of their course guidelines are specific for Tennessee, and they do serve where I live, but from personal experience of my sister, they don't understand the homeschool laws where we live. So she was not happy when she switched because they were saying she would need to do this and this. And she's like, no, I don't. That's not even a requirement here in our state. So anyway, what I liked about their website is they break down the 4 main tracks for high schoolers: going to a university, going to a community college, a life choice path, and a special education. So again, on the special education, I heard that this information is not accurate for our state as well. So keep this in mind, that these are just suggestions. These are not rules, but it was a great starting point for me. So I looked at all 3 of the first tracks, and I took what could apply to us, and I built his high school plan based on these suggestions. So I'm going to say it again. Remember, these are suggestions. These are not rules. Okay? We homeschool. Everything is a suggestion, and we can follow our own learning path. So if your child has a specific university or college they want to attend, then find out what they require for entrance and build your curriculum around those specific requirements. So the first thing I did, and I'm going to show you, was to create an Excel spreadsheet. I know if you're watching the video, it looks a bit overwhelming, but we're going to go through it, and I'm going to explain it to you. So don't panic yet, okay? I promise, don't panic yet. And don't forget, you can download it. And so I have made it available as a part of the whole package of transcripts and attendance sheets and all of this. So you just sign up for the newsletter, and no, I don't spam you very much. I try to keep in touch, and maybe every 6 weeks I send out an email. So no spam involved, and you'll get the Excel spreadsheets for free. Okay. So on one side, so on this far side here, I set up his school by year. So I have 9th grade at the top. I have the school years at the top, so 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Underneath that, I have courses. And so then I start with literature. And that goes through 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. And then I put how many credits that is total. So the total credits for the 4 years of literature is 4 credits. So on the other side, okay, no, we're going to I'm repeating myself here. Sorry, I'm getting lost in my transcripts and explaining it. But that's okay. We're good. So we have the grades and we have the courses. So this allowed me to plan out what he was taking for all of his high school. So partly I didn't want to sit down every year and try to figure out his curriculum. I just wanted to sit down once and know what we were going to do next. So last year when I bought my oldest 10th grade curriculum, I just looked at the spreadsheet, saw what I needed to buy, and went to the website and bought it. So, because I had already planned everything out. So, and of course, this is always subject to change, but at least it gave me an idea of how many credits we had planned and when to do the half credit classes. So there's things like health and physical education and personal finance that end up only being like half credit classes. So I can lay out his entire course, the main courses for the year, and then plug in those half credit classes throughout. So this is how I started. I started with it by year, but then I ran into a dilemma. What was I going to do with high school classes taken in middle school? Do I put an extra year on the transcript like I did here? Or would colleges then dismiss these credits because they weren't taken in high school? All right, so here's what you need to keep in mind. I have done this research for you, and I found a blog post that was very helpful, so I will leave that link below for you as well. So when it comes to creating a homeschool high school transcript, it is the level of the course that matters, not the age of the student when the class was taken. So if the level of their course, so if they're taking a 9th grade course in 8th grade, that is a high school course and can be included on their transcript. So the solution was to create a category transcript. And it looks like this. Basically, instead of listing courses taken in the freshman year, you list all of the language arts in one section and all of the math in another section, etc. So this is actually the transcript that you're going to get in the bundle at the website, because this is one that I made. The other one, the by year transcript, so categorizing everything by freshman year, junior year, I had actually downloaded off a website and I haven't been able to find it. Otherwise, I would leave the link for you. So because I didn't make this one, I did not want to present it as my own. But the category transcript, I will present it as my own because I made this one. Okay, so now let's get into the components in a homeschool high school transcript. And you get to decide how you want to keep track of your high schoolers' credits. Here's what to include in a transcript by category or by year. So you would still include all of these same components even if you were doing it by year. So I want to include this caveat as well. I've heard there is a specific format required for students who play NCAA sports. So be sure to check that out if your child is going that route too. So, okay, let's start with the basics. Number one, the basics. This includes the name of the school. And yes, you just make it up. I've always toyed with the idea of using Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters since my husband's name is Xavier. But, well, we'll just use it for the transcript for now, for our transcript template for now. So you want the student's name, first and last, date of birth, parent's name, telephone number, email address, so your basic contact information. And also at the bottom, you want a statement certifying that this is the official transcript and a signature line. So I've also heard that some universities want a third party to put together the transcript. So honestly, if you just give them kind of like this material, then they can build that transcript themselves as well, if you end up going that route. Again, there's so many routes that you can go. Just check out the school that your child or schools that your child wants to attend and really just go from there. Okay, part 2, or the second one is courses of study and the credits earned. So list the course name, the letter grade the student received, and the credits earned. Also, you want to list the GPA. So the GPA is determined by your grade scale. So here's our grade scale right down here. So an A plus is a 4.0, a B plus is a 3.3, etc. Okay. So the GPA is determined by your grade scale multiplied by the credits. So for example, if your student earned an A plus for a half credit class, you would multiply 4.0 by 0.5. So the GPA for that class is 2.0. So here's something else to keep in mind. 150 hours is a full school year, and that is 1 credit. 75 hours is a half a school year, and that is a half a credit. For dual enrollment, so your child is doing high school and college at the same time. 1 semester of college equals a full year of high school. And also a science with the lab is 1.5 credits because you get that half credit for the lab. So to graduate high school, most students will earn about 24 credits. Again, the best thing to do is to figure out what your child wants to do after high school and plan towards that goal. And also if there's any specific state requirements, and HSLDA will be the best resource for you to find out for state specific requirements. So next, we kind of already covered this, but you also want to include your grading table. So this lists the value of the letter grade given, and it looks like this. So we have A plus is a 97 to 100%, and that is a 4.0. An A minus is a 90 to a 92, and that's a 3.7. And this grading table is on the category transcript. So this will also help to calculate the GPA for the year for every subject, and then the cumulative GPA at the end of the year. Okay, so next we have the academic summary. So this includes the cumulative GPA, and this is the average GPA for the entire high school career. It'll also include the credits earned. So right now with this setup, we're earning 27 credits. So this is the total number of high school and dual enrollment credits earned. The diploma earned, we just list that as yes or no. And then finally, the graduation date. The final component of the transcript is your extracurricular activities. Now, like I said, I've never turned in a high school transcript. I've never had to sell myself to a college or anything like that. And depending on what your child wants to do, they may have to do that. So it's good to include those extracurricular activities as well. So you also want to include sports played, volunteer experiences, and anything else that would go into this category. And seriously, think broadly on this. Put everything and anything into the transcript. You know, if your child is going to a university, then they want to see that they had a well-rounded education and all their experiences. So I have also put in tons of electives. Well, not tons. So physical ed, driver's education, because even if I am teaching it, they are still getting driver's ed. And in our state, it's 50 hours of driver's ed minimum. So they're still getting driver's ed plus all the time they spent. So it's 50 hours driving time plus all the time they spent to study and to do all that kind of stuff. So definitely put in driver's ed. Library and internet search, art, game strategy, all these things are elective classes that they have taken. When your child reaches high school, it really does feel like an accomplishment. It is also a shift from child to young man or woman. Creating a homeschool high school transcript doesn't need to be overwhelming. Download the category transcript, which includes an example of how I plan the high school years. And so all of that is yours. What I showed you, you get all of that. And remember, I am just a mom like you, sharing my personal experience. Each of us has a unique situation, so be sure to do the research for yourself as well. This is just intended for educational purposes. I am so glad you joined me today. If you want to help spread the word, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. You can listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Remember to check out the Life Unboxed store for all of your Mom Boss merch. And you can support the show with coffee. Visit ko-fi.com/life-unboxed-blog to buy this tired mama a cup of joe. For more great mompreneur content, follow Life Unboxed on social media or check out life-unboxed.blog. And be sure to share the podcast and video with your friends. It is a great way to support the show. And I will see you in the next video.